Initiating moisture.
There aren't enough words in the human languages to accurately convey just how surprised I am that this Solo, a Star Wars movie, turned out to be as good as it is. I was incredibly ready to just write this movie off. I was fully expecting this to just be a fucking urethral swab of a movie experience. I expected this to be horrible, and it was so far from that. I'd like to quickly touch on one of my biggest moist meter regrets. It was the Star Wars Last Jedi review I did. I gave that too high of a score, 100%, and I fully apologize. I just kind of was wrapped up in the hype of it. Seeing movies when they open is always a more fun experience, and it makes the movies better than they are. That movie did not deserve the score I gave it. It should have been much lower than a 70. I just didn't like it. I rewatched it recently. It's just not a good movie in my opinion. So Disney has shown to me that they can't really make a good Star Wars movie, in my opinion, until this movie. Solo is spectacular, and it had so much bad shit going on with the production of this movie that I don't know how they could make it as good as they did here. There's definitely some shortcomings, and I'll touch on those real quick right now. The biggest misstep with this movie, or biggest complaint I would have about this, is there's really just not a whole lot of depth to Han Solo. They don't really develop his character. There's really just no character development at all in this movie with pretty much any of the characters. There's a couple where there is some development, but not that much, nothing like super crazy. All in all, this movie just strived to be a fun adventure movie showing you Han Solo and beloved characters doing some cool shit with very few hard Star Wars tie-ins. They're not like jerking your dick off with Star Wars cameos and tie-ins, but they are here. But that wasn't the focal point. The focal point was making a fun, standalone movie with an enjoyable plot that wasn't convoluted or thrown in with a lot of unnecessary, useless plot ploys that are just lazy writing. It was just really enjoyable. Visually, I think it's the best Star Wars movie I've seen. The settings were great. The visuals were great. The sound was super fucking spectacular. The character designs are the best in the entire franchise. I saw a lot of new aliens here I've never seen before, and they looked fucking cool. You'd have aliens that looked like 5 titties stacked on top of each other with a Rubik's Cube in the middle. There was some really cool looking alien species in here. And really just all of the shit in here was cool looking. They had like a space yacht that was really good, really good to look at. I mean, I have so few complaints about this, and I can't believe that, because this is a movie I think almost everyone rolled their eyes at. Oh, here's Disney milking Star Wars, and by all means, they absolutely are by making this movie, but goddamn, the attempts at humor in this movie were fucking awful as well, just insufferable attempts to make you laugh that I don't think anyone will laugh at least the theater I went to, no one did. The half-full theater for a Star Wars release, which is the first time I've ever seen that happen, so The Last Jedi succeeded in one area, which is making everyone hate Disney Star Wars movies for good reason, but this is definitely their best one. Another bad thing about this movie is the characters. They also go with the same tired-out theme of rebellion with youngsters. That's just so played out and just, just something you got to roll your eyes at because you expect it, you get it, and it's kind of just underwhelming when you do. And the droid L337, elite gamer speak, elite nerds. Does anyone else nerd in the early 2000s? Elite. The worst character in the Star Wars franchise, beating Jar Jar Binks by a fucking mile. That's just a really bad character, no matter how you look at it. L337 is a horrible fucking character. I don't know how anyone could defend it. Okay, the droid was just awful droid. Really just not fun to watch on the screen. They really milked some beautiful premium nectar from this bitch here. They absolutely nailed this movie. It's the best Disney Star Wars they've made so far, which is incredible because, like I said, they've had a lot of production problems here. I don't know how they managed to squeak this one out of their assholes, but they did. It's a very clean, non-stinky product. Someone that was working on this must have gathered all the Dragon Balls and made a wish. Hey, look, Shinron, I've got this real shit heap of a movie. Can we go ahead and turn this dumpster fire into something spectacular? Shinron said, no, he doesn't have that kind of power, but we can turn it into something pretty goddamn good. And they did. This is pretty goddamn good. It's nothing that you're going to have to go out and see, but if you're a Star Wars fan, I think you absolutely should see this, because it's the best Disney one so far. It's really fucking good. I have so few complaints about it, but there is some nitpicky things that I could pick apart, but it'd be spoilers. You really do have to suspend your disbelief in a lot of these parts because apparently everyone understands how to fly every ship ever made, and everyone is so incredibly tech savvy that they can fix anything and understand every order given in a ship they've never seen before. So there's a lot of shit you have to just be like, okay, you know what, that's fine, I'll just let that slide. There's also a lot of people complaining that they didn't really stay true to the Han Solo character. They missed a lot of why he was such a big character and an important one and why everyone liked him. And I can agree to a certain extent, but Alden nailed it. That was the best casting choice for this they could have made. He did capture Han Solo as well as anyone possibly could, and you already knew Donald Glover was going to nail it because he shits out perfection these days. He's just great. Let's go ahead and plug this shit into the moist meter. I'm going to give it an 80%. It really is the best Disney Star Wars. It is really good. It's very entertaining, but keep in mind, it is just an adventure movie at the end of the day. They don't really try and make some huge impact on the Star Wars universe or really add a whole lot to Star Wars. They just very clearly wanted to make a fun adventure movie with some beloved characters and have a self-contained story that was not affected too much by anything in any other Star Wars or really have that much of an effect on anything Star Wars related, except for obviously Han Solo and Chewbacca and Lando. But it is a very, very fun movie to watch. It is really just so goddamn surprising how good this movie is. Most people are writing it off, rightfully so. I did as well. But I think it is worth seeing. It's a good movie. So yeah.